I needed to make some drastic changes here. I need to implement some systems and I need to do it quickly. And it wasn't implemented as quick as I would have liked because staff didn't like change and they had it so easy. So I made the tough decision to just wipe the drawing board down.
Hey, welcome to the Tradie Success Podcast. On this podcast, you're going to hear real life stories from trade business owners to minimize the mistakes you're going to make, maximize profit, create more time freedom, and minimize emotional overwhelm. So hit subscribe and follow us now and enjoy the episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Tradie Success Podcast. A very special episode. We're here today with Jordan Cruttenden from Jordan's Electrical in Wales in the UK. And thanks for joining us, Jordan. Jordan is one of our coaches in the academy, and he actually came in as a member many years ago and has transformed his business and now helps thousands of tradies himself help get over the challenges of running a business. So thanks for coming on board, man.
No problem. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to catch up, and always a pleasure to share, Greg.
Yeah, man. This is going to be a fun session. We're going to freestyle a lot. But before we do, I just wanted to make this opportunity for you to be able to share a little bit of your story, because I think a lot of guys do go through some times where you need to retract to move forward. And that's sort of what you had to go through. So I'd love for you to share back before you joined the academy. What was life like? And, how did you get to, 9+ staff or whatever you had? And, and then we'll walk through that journey, because it's quite a big one.
Yeah, sure. It's a little bit different to how we find a lot of the members join. So I actually came into the academy. We were 13 staff at the time, but it was nothing to be proud of. I was making myself ill. If you look back at some of the photos or the videos of me when I joined, I was malnourished. I was really in a bad way. I remember the first call I got on with you, Greg, and I remember looking and thinking, like, is it just the Aussie tan next to me in the footage, or do I really look that unwell? Like, I didn't look like a healthy person, and I wasn't. I really wasn't. I was up all night. We're talking 80-hour weeks, pretty decent turnover, but like losing money. We had zero system in place, and I very quickly realized that I was just good at getting vans and guys and work. And that's what we need as trade business owners. But without the solid foundations that you can grow upon, I was stuck. Very quickly realized back then I did what was called the incubator program, and realized, right, I needed to make some drastic changes here. I need to implement some systems and I need to do it quickly. And it wasn't implemented as quick as I would have liked because staff didn't like change and they had it so easy. So I made the tough decision to just wipe the drawing board down, and we got rid of everyone well, there's 4 of us remained. One of them was my partner, Sophie, which would have been a tough conversation to get rid of her. But we kept Sophie on, and I'm so glad I did, because she's a weapon. She's now my office manager, and we scaled back up. We implemented systems, worked proactively, and built to where we are now. So if we include everyone, field staff, office staff, subcontractors and VAs, we're about 20 staff all in now. So I'd say we've nearly doubled in 3 years, but also we went right back to 4. So I like to say we've done more than double, to be honest.
Yeah, you had to rebuild, and sometimes that's necessary, especially if the culture is, no, I'm going to do it the way I like to do it, and there's a lot of resistance, and you just don't have the time or the energy as a business owner when you're that overwhelmed to slowly and patiently help people adapt. So, yeah, I get it, man. It's tough. It's a tough decision. It's something you never want to do, but sometimes it's necessary. So what was that moment like for you? What was that like? How did you come to the moment where you're like, actually, I'm going to have to get rid of 9 people?
I remember you said, as whatever size your business is, you do have to put that director's hat on, and a director is there to mitigate risk. And at the moment, if you cannot implement changes, then the risk element is massive, and you need to cut that out. And the things that were holding me back with the staff, simple as it was the staff. I would try to, because I'd been this easygoing, and I still am easygoing, but I mean because I'd been this business owner that was more worried about scalability than systems. The staff was shocked, and it was just after COVID as well. So the guys had got a bit misplaced, and even though they were quite misplaced before, um, and I just thought I've put all this work in, and I've got some decent assets there, and I don't want to lose it all. And the way I was going, truth of the matter was, I was going to. Without joining the academy, I don't think Jones Lecture would have survived. To be completely honest.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where you're working harder and harder and harder, hoping that hard work will be the solution to your problems, but very inefficiently, very ineffectively. And that, it eventually grinds you down to the point where you give up. But I'm glad you did that final push and you got the support, and we all, were able to support you through a very tough decision and to be able to rebuild. After that moment of letting everyone go, what was the real feeling that you felt in that moment?
Oh, instant weight release. Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say.
yeah, instant. And it's such a weird thing, 'cause I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it, because it was really one of the hardest things I've done. Because I loved the staff. I loved them individually. It was nothing personal. It's just they were, yeah, they didn't like the change. But it was instant that I was just putting the work in, and it was getting listened and done. And it just made me fire up that engine again that I had, that was still there, but it was on kind of idle because I was just knackered. But I really, really do enjoy working on my business. I love it. And I was at a point when I hadn't worked on it for years. I was just constantly working in it to keep it alive. And when I made the decision to get rid of everybody, or most of, I had that time to work on it again, and I was enjoying it again. And I was watching the videos, and I was looking forward to catching up on some content and implementing the things that the academy were teaching me.
Oh, yeah, I definitely relate to the feeling of relief when you make a big decision. It's like you're building up, building up, building up. I've had it with clients, like really toxic clients I had to let go, but I was worried that, I wouldn't have the work and all this stuff, but it was taking up so much of our time and resources trying to fix, and work with a really toxic client. And I remember like fearing, if I was to tell them to stop sending us work and we're not working for you anymore, that would be a really bad thing for the company. But as soon as I did it, instant relief. And same with, if you've been around since some big decisions I had to make in the company. And many times in response with teams that had been set in their way. And we had to, it was very scary to take the move, but instantly this huge relief. And everyone that comes after that, like you've got new systems and you've been building and changing, everyone that comes after that, those changes have been made, comes into a whole new space that they didn't know the old way, so they come straight into the new way. And so they embrace it and they're in it, and you get the maximum effectiveness from it. Did you experience that yourself with the new staff you hired after you'd made those changes and there was limited change, or more flexible to change when they first started with you?
Yeah, and still today, I love hiring because you just get fresh energy. And I mean, I haven't had many jobs. I've always worked for myself. A couple of at the beginning, I was employed, but I would always be very excited about this new career choice and this new path. And you see it when you hire people; they come in, and I find staff can go either way. They either come in and just want to climb, or they kind of get misplaced and they want to relax. But when you get those guys or girls that come in and want to just skyrocket, it oozes across the team. It's amazing. And you said something there, Greg, clients as well. Let's not forget, when I did do the strip back, I got rid of all the clients as well, because yeah, pretty much all of them, because I also was undercharging massively, which a lot of the members we coach, come in and it's horrible to do their cost of ops, but they realize they're really undercharging. I was the same. So then when I went to charge those clients the right amount to make what I need, what do you think they did? They were just like, nah, no, we're not doing this. So it was kind
Yeah.
of like I was forced to I was forced to get rid of the clients and staff because I was just digging myself a grave.
Yeah, we see that a lot with our members, don't we? Like where they're scared about putting their prices up because they might lose some of the clients they've got. But the clients they keep at this higher rate, you know, we see a lot of guys go from almost, break even or losing money every job to finally making profit. And so there's no point having a client where you're not making money or breaking even, because what's the point? Like you're just doing jobs for free, really. And if you're losing money, you're paying money out of your family's wallet to to the client to do the job for them. It doesn't make any sense. But without that clarity around your costs of operations, around whether or not you're profitable by really understanding your P&L every month, and looking at that and making changes, we can't make those decisions. And so when you do lose those clients, it opens up all of this space to go and get new opportunity at a new rate. And that must have been what you went through as well, yeah?
Yeah, I couldn't. I still do it now, but I couldn't believe the minimal kickback I had by charging the right rate. I think everybody listening to this, or even members of the academy, can agree that we are all anxious about putting up our rates because you don't want to charge more. You need to charge more. And when you put them up, I don't think I've ever regretted it. But that first time, I'm talking, I nearly trebled my rates, mind. That's how cheap I was in the beginning. I was really
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't understand how much it costs to run a business, man. And when I crunched in the cost of ops calc, and I soon realized, I thought I can't get away with doing that over here. There's no way. But yeah, we did, and clients actually are happy with our rates. We've got the more ideal clients, the ones that want to pay for the service, and they value us, we value them. And that's a big thing around pricing is there's a value point and a price point. And I think as I increased my price point, I definitely increased my value point with it. And that's where all the clients that we have today always, look at our Google reviews. They love us. They want us for more, and we've got those long lasting relationships rather than me trying to squeeze them because they don't value us. Rather than me being bent over a barrel all the time, or my clients dangling a carrot, say, "We'll give you all this. Just look after us on this job. We've all been there." Now I'm kind of like, well, we don't need that now. We've got plenty of other clients that value us for who we are and are happy paying our rates.
Yeah, people that are genuine and good quality clients won't come in with strategies like look after us on this job and we'll look after you in future jobs. Like that's just taking advantage of people that are ignorant and don't understand what the situation is. And so, I think that's a really good point as well, is upping your prices. It allows you, when you're profitable, to spend more time with a client, to really connect, to really go above and beyond. And that increases, like you said, the value point of your service and therefore makes it feel more like a better experience and worth the money. But if you're the other way, conversely, if you are rushing because you're not making money and there's no money in the bank, you're trying to punch out as many jobs as you can at a low rate, and you just can't provide a great service and a good connection with a customer when you are working like that. This high pressure, high stress environment of trying to punch out jobs, get in, get out. There's no space for connection.
Yeah, from point A to point Z, when you're underpricing, it's just rushed. And the two things I find that we're looking back, we would cut back on to make profit was quality and safety.
Yeah.
If you're doing the same job as I am, exactly the same job, but I'm cheaper than you, how do I get that job done cheaper? it's efficiency, right? To make the same profit as you, but with a lesser price. But sometimes there's only so far you could take efficiency without cutting back. And sadly, the two things I was looking on my business back then was the safety and quality of the work. Uh, and then you enter the whole discrepancy issue when your clients then don't want to pay you for the work that you probably haven't made any money on anyway, because the quality is terrible because you've been running your team above capacity, and the culture then goes downhill, and you just open up, a whole cocktail of just nastiness.
It's it's so interesting. I can remember that as well. Like just those points where you're just so busy, so much work, and you're just like get in, get out, and you don't intentionally cut corners, but you just people just don't do what they need to do on the job because of the pressure, right? And the thing I see that is the first to go is good conversation with the customer, and for them to, especially if you're talking team, you might be able to be consistent if you're the business owner, but also not if you're really stressed, is connecting with a customer and then maximizing the value of your job while you're there, right? Getting upsells on site, providing more value to the customer means you can be more efficient with less effort because you're not wasting money through traveling between jobs and unbillable time. And so if you're already there and you can add extra value to the job, that's what boosts efficiency and profit. But in order to do that, you have to take the pressure off and create capacity and charge more so you can be in that like sort of mindset without that pressure so you can sell more. And so it's a bit of a mammoth thing to sort of put your head around, but when you get it, you get it.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer as well. Now I've got like an admin team. Is that it's and you probably feel this. If you're having a bad day, right, as the director, I don't know how, I can't figure it out, but everyone's having a bad day. Like your energy just like oozes across the team.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I had like a sort of realization that like you do lead by example as a business owner. And I love that because I like to think I like to lead. Um, Not egotistically, I just like to help people be the best versions of themselves. And when I come in, if I'm having a stressful moment with a job or a client, everybody else is having like you can have Sophie over there doing absolutely nothing to do with this job, and she just seems to be having a bad day. So you've got to really put yourself in a good place so the rest of the team have a good day or good week or good month, and then they feed off your energy,
Yeah. Yeah. I know you're a massive advocate as well as me on like the same as I am in terms of maximizing your personal performance to show up as your best self. So, what are some of the things that you've learned around this space that you've tested and tried and you know works for you so that you do show up as your best self for your team, for your partner, for Sophie, for your kids, for your clients, for everyone and the community, really. Everyone that, person you're buying coffee off in the morning, they don't want you to be a dick. So, what do you do to show up as your best self each day?
Well, this podcast just got a bit longer, Craig. Now we're talking about personal performance. Me and you, geez, we could talk about this for a while. Uh, and this is what I love about the personal performance. I've always been into sports. I raced motocross before for years, uh, but I never looked at it as a business point. It was always just like my pipe dream, really. Um, and then with the academy, they taught me about like no, to run your business, you need to be the best version of yourself. Um, so I started dabbling and trying it a bit, and then it was 2 years ago. I thought, I'm going to listen to Greg. I'm going to go hard at this. And I think we did the water fast. We did a 5-day water fast,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yep.
and I've just found it amazing, and I still do them now. And then I thought, right, what else can I do? And I just want to do more and more and more. And it's kind of like you've opened this door to like a superpower. Like I can
Yeah.
be the best. Like I'm getting older, but I'm feeling better. It's crazy. And I thought for years I was looking after myself, but I was just riding motocross bikes. and maybe eating what I thought was right. But in like bullet point form, I do loads to be the best version of myself. But just a couple off the top of the list: ice baths. I just do an ice bath every morning, sauna every evening. I meditate. I read books again. I never used to read. I was always working, always working. And I think that's been a big one for me, is reading a book, work related and business related, or just I've been reading some stuff about Goggins, which is just not really what you should read before you go to bed.
Right before you go to bed.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I just want to get up and do some burpees after reading that stuff. But yeah, and then I do believe, and it's a bit of a weird one, but is it selfish to put yourself first, not be able to attend to everybody's needs, but the people you can attend, you're the best version of yourself?
Yeah.
You know, and rather than be a half-assed jump to everybody who needs you, because there is going to be a lot of people that need us, or be an absolute weapon to the people you choose to, you know, your loved ones, your colleagues, some of your clients. And I do believe that, if is that selfish? I think it's not.
No, I don't think so. And I think if you show up as your best self, that will go through your team and allow them to be their best self to all of the clients you serve. You know, this is the whole thing is if you don't, the opposite will happen. You know, they will be pissed off and they'll show up and they'll be rude and they'll be dismissive to the team, not because they want to be, it's just because someone's made them feel bad. And guess who that is? You, the business owner who's stressed. So,
Yeah,
so important to find what works for you and, you know, really tune into like always trying to improve that. And that's something I've always been, you know, focused on my whole life, but gone through periods where I fall off it and fall back into it, or choose to come back into it because I know I've gone down into a bad place. And usually it's because I'm lacking something like clear direction or clear goals, especially around like sport, like having a competition coming up, you know, instantly aligns me to a better, healthier way to live, ready for competition. But without competition, business seems to always come and overwhelm my life and all of my brain and time. And so, yeah, it's good to have those goals outside of the business that you turn to when you're not at work to have a clean break from the business stuff.
yeah. Um, Two things that popped into my head there. So I train with a bunch of Marines on a Wednesday, and honestly, no matter how stressful my week's been or my day's been, I am not thinking about Jones Electrical when I'm carrying a 17 stone Marine up a mountain on my back in the rain.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, how the hell am I going to get out of this situation right now? You know, so it does take you away from it all. And then another thing, I remember you telling me, Greg, when we used to run the personal performance channel, was that it's the one thing in business that you can't delegate. You know, you can get an operations manager, you can get a sales and marketing manager, you can get an accountant, but you can't get someone to eat a salad for you. You can't get someone to go to bed early for you. You know, and I've been trying to figure out a way, because you know how much me and you love automation. I've been trying to figure out how we can automate that. But do we really want to? I enjoy that aspect of business, and it is personal performance, but it's definitely a pillar in business, in my business and my life, because I don't think I could get to where I am without really putting the work in on myself.
And it's about allowing your body to generate more energy. It's working on yourself so that your engine is bigger, you know. So I always think of like for myself, I'm like, if I'm training consistently, I'm demanding more energy from my body. So I'll produce more energy. So my body will tell me to eat more, eat cleaner, don't drink, you know, sleep more, you know, have higher quality sleep because of the exercise, because there's more demand on my body for more energy. But if I'm getting lazy, and I definitely notice if I have a week where I don't do any exercise, I'll suffer in terms of my body will stop producing energy. So I'll feel more and more sluggish, more and more lethargic. I'll feel, you know, more less motivation to do stuff, you know, and it snowballs real quick. And then the anxiety kicks in, and then all the other negative stuff that follows. And therefore, I think we just need to make sure we optimize our health and our mindset to perform at our best. Because why wouldn't you? Like, why wouldn't you want to show up as your best self?
And lock stuff in. So lock the rest days in. Lock the meal with your partner, and what, like, just lock things in and be so strict around shut off. I know you're very, very good at five. What was the saying? If I'm not home by 5, I will die. And
Oh, yeah, that whole.
yeah, which I used to do with Frankie. And I remember when you told me that, and I was like, I don't think I could do that. But then, what's the difference? Let's do it. And I still live by it now. Yeah, I'm the first in, but I'm a morning guy. I'm up pretty early. But come 4:30, computer's off. I'm done. I'm out of here, because otherwise I'll die. That's what I tell myself.
Yeah, 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 and that forces you to get back on time. Like it. It's the way you see the situation will help you act in alignment with who you want to be. And it starts with understanding who you want to be and then going from there. All right, man. Great chat on personal performance. I just want to bullet point out some things around some of the things we're dealing with the clients and our members at the moment. So what's something that's coming up for you a lot that you're hearing in the industry at the moment that we can jam on a little bit?
A good one. I think this will always be I wouldn't say a popular topic, but something that pop up often is the whole busy, quiet period. One minute you're flat out, you're needing to hire, and then all of a sudden, I've got no work on. And I get that a lot. You probably get it a lot, Greg, when you're coaching. And it it's kind of like, as mad as it sounds, you've got to just do what I call the non-negotiables. So, like, if you're busy, still quote. If you've got money in the bank, still be invoicing and chasing that money, and it'll kind of iron out. It never flatlines, I don't think. Well, it hasn't for me yet, but you'll stop the anxiety wavelength. But yeah, we seem to be getting a lot of that always, and I think a lot of it is new members coming in, is that workflow. I'm very, very systematic, and I love building workflows for my team that'll help their day run smoother. Which essentially, if you've got all your team running smooth, then the business is going to run smooth. Maybe not smooth as like, but it'll run smoother. But yeah, that's a topic that I hear a lot of.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've literally spent 15 years figuring it out, not just in Response Electricians, but also in the academy and scaling the academy and having two very different business models simultaneously doing that same thing, right? And then to be able to see both of those and be a part of both of those and manage both of those. And then to see all of our clients and members doing the same thing. And it's like, well, what's the reason? Like, what's the reason that happens? And I think when you really reflect on it, and everyone's going to be different, like the type of work you do, the size of the work you do, the team you have, the literally the combination of people you have in your team as well will matter. And I was saying just in game day this week, I'm pretty sure like I've helped over 6,500 people now in the academy has come through the academy.
Wow.
There's a lot of people, right? And a lot of businesses. You give me any combination of a team. I've got 12 tradies, one ops manager, one admin, and myself. I'll tell you what your life's like. I have that intrinsic knowing of like what life's like because of the model we teach in the academy now, which is all around capacity and where time is and what sort of a curve you'll have as a result. Now we know like sole traders is the most hectic. Like it's the most hectic flow of like busy quiet because you're trying to do it all. The worst, I'd say, yeah, you're wearing every hat, right? So you're like the director, general manager, head of marketing, head of sales, ops manager, admin, and the tradie on site. So you're trying to do all of that. And this is where it gets really fucked up. Like, and I never had to deal with this because I was never a sole trader. But if you've got a partner and kids, and you're a sole trader, that is another level again. Because like you're trying to grow a business that has, a requirement for you to be there for your partner, for your kids, for yourself, and for your business. And that's where it gets real tricky, but it's not impossible. So I think that's where people just can't, like, they can't even fathom as a sole trader that if I hire someone, how the fuck am I going to afford it? They can't even think about how they're going to afford it. But the reason they can't afford it at the moment is they're only doing these small days because they've got a family or because they've got a partner that they really want to spend time with, or they're very strict on their personal time when their business isn't big enough yet. And that's fine, because as soon as you put that first tradie on, they're there 8 hours a day, every day to do their job, and they'll do that. And that's the first time that's why we see people double their revenue all the time. But then the catch is you got to do it the right way. And that's what people don't do. So they hire people that aren't competent. And so what I love about the academy is we've developed that systematic approach to, pretty much giving the right bait to, on the hook to catch the right fish. Because if you don't, you'll spend all your time thinking that you're not able to achieve it or hoping that things are going to be fine. But it's really because you've hired the wrong person. And, if you don't have the right person for your company, and every company is different, that's where you will lose confidence in yourself. You'll lose confidence in your business. You'll think that this isn't going to work. You'll blame the staff member. You'll blame yourself. You'll blame your family. You'll blame, it becomes very blamey. But at the end of the day, it's just, we've just not made the right hire. So, and then there's a systematic approach to who you hire and when to get, to maximize your freedom while you do it. So there's all different combinations and pathways you can go. And like I said, it's based on the type of business you have. But it's an interesting, phenomenon, isn't it? It's
So interesting. And we've got the tools to say who to hire, how to hire, and when to hire. And I love hiring. I literally just love interviewing. It's just one of my things. I think that's the one thing I should let go of, but I like to get involved. But with the academy, we've got tools to say when you need to invest in this area of your business. If it's admin, or if it's operations, we can use calculators, spreadsheets to say the amount of work you have. You need two ops managers, not one. You're going to kill that guy off. You're running him above capacity. And it was only like, I think it was like November 2023, maybe December 2023 for me. I finally broke through a seal point in my business. We were stuck around like 8 guys, and I just couldn't figure out what was happening. I couldn't get through it. We'd hire a guy and another guy would leave, and we had a couple of problems with some operation managers. I realized it was capacity. What I was doing was I was getting 8 billable hours out of every field staff. I was getting my ops managers to run them all, and I was trying to put more men on, which secretly he didn't want. He wasn't looking for the growth.
he was overwhelmed as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought I was a really approachable business owner and colleague, but I was so like push, 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 grow, grow, grow. Everybody wasn't on the mission with me like I thought they would be. So now it's whole like the water bottle analogy, where if you've got 8 bottles of water, you're carrying 8 liters of water. You drop a bottle of water, you lose a liter, right? But if you're carrying 10 bottles and fill them up with 8 liters, you still carry 8 liters. Drop a bottle, you're going to lose 2/3 of a liter. So that's what I thought. Right, this is it. This is what's been happening. Is I'm filling my bottles up all the way, and they're going to fall. And they were dropping, and I'd have to hire another guy, retrain them, onboard them. And if you hire someone and they leave within 3 months, you might as well take a bag of money and throw it off the cliff, right? So we really put some time and energy into capacity, and what bolts on to that now, I've noticed, where we're running a lower capacity, is the culture. The culture lifted, and everyone was looking
Oh,
forward to coming to
yeah.
work. You know, they're
Yeah.
all doing 6 billable hours a day rather than 8. You know, so a lot of the guys come back to the yard. They're jumping in the sauna with me. They're training in the gym with me. We built a gym in the yard, and the vibe is alive. You know, the vibe's alive.
Yeah. Well, do you see though, like you said 6 billable hours, but is it 6 actual hours where they're able to bill more because they're more effective? That's, being able to communicate with the customer, sell more on site. You know, we're the same. Like we won't, uh, uh, as much as we possibly can, won't get people to 100%. Because let's go back to your bottle analogy or a glass of water. If you fill it all the way to the top, and you try and pour more water into it, you can't, because it overflows. So that's the same as people. Like that overflow is opportunity you're not getting on site. Like that's the upsells they're not getting. And it's all the extra work you could get if you had capacity in that glass or that bottle. And, by, with the intention to go 6 hours, say if someone calls in sick, then you pour, their glass that are meant to be at work into those, and they go up to 7 each. And then, you've still got an hour space. So they feel less pressure. So they have some conversation, get a few upgrades throughout the day, which equals 8. And then they feel really great. And there was no pressure throughout the day. So yeah, it's really fun to play around with that, that analogy, and to really think, the impact of running people over capacity. And let's go back to sport. It's no different to you training at 100% every day.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
could you imagine going and training to the max effort every day? While you might be able to do that for a short period of time, eventually your body's going to break down. And that's scientifically proven. Like, there's no way to operate in anaerobic, like, exercise every day without obviously really dialed in nutrition and um, sleep and all of the things. But in saying that as well, it increases the risk of injury. And if you get injured, then you're out. Like, and you stop training and you stop producing. And so the injury might be 2 weeks or it might be 2 months. But that means that, if that's the same as a staff member, they might injure themselves, or they might call in sick, or they might take, personal leave, or they might quit. So that's like a business injury. And it's because we push them too hard. And, at capacity, if someone calls in sick, then everyone else is over capacity for the week. And then they call in sick the week after, and it's a snowball effect. It just keeps happening. So it's an interesting thing to really consider and reflect on and think about.
Yeah, and you do need to think about it because your staff, they're out there, and they you're not going to get to your dream on your own. There's no way you can automate a sole trader. You're wearing all the hats. So if your mission is to automate your business, you're going to need staff, and running them at maximum capacity will work for a little while, but it won't work forever. Um, and and they will appreciate you more when you verbally communicate with them. Like we have a guy that comes in and he has a blank schedule. I say to uh, our service coordinator who does all the service work to not book anything to this guy's schedule. He's there to come in case someone has a variation on a job or is falling behind, or he's got stuck in traffic. He can't make that booking. So we've got what we call the floater. Since we've done that, obviously that's not going to generate profit in our business directly, but it's increased culture massively, and the guys are happier. They're upselling more because they're like, well, I got 3 bookings today, and on my second one I could upsell a fuse board, and I know the float will pick up my third job.
Yeah,
So
totally.
it
Yeah.
is, over a long period of time or over the month, definitely generating more cash in the business. Directly day to day, we're looking at a guy that's got nothing on his schedule. Like, you think I'm a bit nuts doing that, but it's working. And the guys are just calling him up. Can you drop this to me? Can you finish this off for me? They're not working past 5, which I run an electrical business. It's quite hard to always get your team to finish on time. It's not like it's not like certain trades where you could just say, I'll pick up where I left off tomorrow. Like we're done when it's back on, when the project's energized. Uh, but yeah, we've been working very closely with running at a decent capacity, so that the guys are finishing closer to that 5 o'clock, than or 4:30, whatever it is.
I think that's what matters. If they know you're intentionally trying to finish them on time, that's what matters really. And if you've got good people, like in half an hour, some days even 2 hours where it goes over because of a situation on site, or it is, a really tough day, then that's going to be fine. And it, again, like we come back to the exercise analogy. If you're, exercising at 80% every day, you could probably keep doing that every single day, So if you were to, exercise at 80% every day, and then there's a day where you needed to actually push yourself, then that's not going to really make a difference. It's not going to put you into injury. It's just a hard day. And it's probably a good thing every now and then. It really helps you appreciate the days where you're cruising. But what really gets the best performance out of anyone, whether it's sport or workers, is consistency. Like showing up and doing work every day and not calling in sick or taking leave or coming up with a lie why I need to take a day off because it's just been too hectic. And that day off costs more than actually, you're better off running it 7 hours a day.
Remember, I think we caught up start of 2023. Remember, I had that like sick problem. Remember that
Oh,
where
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had a wave of sickness. Like we didn't have a full team for something ridiculous like 6 months. There was always a guy off. And looking back, it was the capacity. It was I was running the guys too hard. Like that's what it was. We got through it hiring. We were hired to to basically replace people who were sick, but really once we did that, no one was sick anymore.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, yeah. So the team grew, and we've kept everyone obviously. So we found them the work. We got tools to get the work, but originally I was hiring people to take the jobs on that the guys who are going to be sick because we just couldn't figure out. Me and you talked loads about it. What the hell is happening, Joe? There's loads of sick, loads of people off on sick leave, uh, and yeah, we've ironed that out. We haven't had a sick day in a while, but well, actually, that's a lot. A few in the office, but we've had a wave of an illness come through. But that's
Yeah, but even that though, right? Like stress raises cortisol. It puts lots of pressure. You don't sleep properly. If you don't sleep properly, then you're more susceptible. Your immune system's down. You can get sick. It's genuine sickness. Sometimes sure, you can come to work with snotty nose and keep pushing through, but a lot of the time it's genuine sickness. But it's genuine sickness because of the environment. And when we as business owners start to own that, and we're like, oh, okay, I can see how by me working everyone as hard as I am, it's contributing to their health issues they're having. And that's costing us way more than putting another staff member on. So you put another staff member on, you just, whatever your team size is, you add another, more earning potential and capacity. So no one gets sick anymore. So it's fucking win-win every time. Every time.
I've never. I mean, there has been people that haven't worked out that I've hired, right? Just because of the actual person wasn't the right fit. But in terms of finding that person work, whether it's field staff or admin, I've never gone, whoops, like that was a bad idea. Like there's always something for someone to do in there.
Yeah.
You just need to lead them and give them a workflow and coach them through. And every time it takes that little bit of weight off your shoulders as a business owner.
100%, man. Man, it's been awesome catching up with you. This won't be the last time. We're going to do it again. We got so much to talk about, but really appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, sharing some tips, what's going on in the industry, and can't wait to catch up with you next time. And thanks for everything you do for the academy and the industry and all the tradies out there that get your support. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Greg. And yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for life. TSA till I die, baby.
Woo! All right. We'll go to the grave together. See you later, man. Have a good one.
Take it easy, dude.
Hey guys, it's Greg here. Thanks for listening to the podcast. For me, growing my trade business was extremely hard. It cost me millions of dollars, so much time trying to figure out what was the right way to do business, and emotionally feeling like I'm letting myself, my partner, and my family down by not knowing how to run my business properly. But I kept working hard and overcame those challenges and created systems and solutions that minimized those mistakes for myself and my team as we grew. Now, Response Electricians, go and Google it. We've got over 1,700 reviews on Google. We've won awards like Electrician of the Year and Service Business of the Year, both state and nationally. I sat on the National Board of Directors for Master Electricians Australia for 2 years, created a real solid awareness of the industry and the construction industry and the challenges you face. And the business runs autonomously over in Perth while I live my life working on the academy in Byron Bay. And I help people like you create freedom from your business as well. Now, having coached and trained thousands of trade business owners, we've developed the Freedom Fighters program. It's a guided pathway in a hybrid training and coaching system that provides you with the right information and steps to take to create freedom, not in years, but now. You can actually create more freedom from your business sooner than you think. So click the link and have a free strategy session with one of our academy experts to fully understand how you can create more time freedom from your trade business, generating more profit, better culture, and more growth in less time.